The economy pulled itself out of recession in the fourth quarter of 2020 if the growth statistics in President Uhuru Kenyatta's 14th address on the COVID-19 pandemic are anything to go by. According to the head of state, the economy grew by 0.6% in the full year 2020, pointing at a relatively strong fourth quarter of last year compared to the contraction registered in the second and the third quarters. Julian's Amboko has more on the president's address regarding the state of the economy.
The COVID-19 economic intervention measures adopted in 2020, including the raft of tax cuts, cash transfers, restructuring of bank loans, and an economic stimulus package, helped the economy expand by 0.6%, translating into a gain of 584.4 billion shillings in the full year 2020. This, according to President Uhuru Kenyatta, is a good report, especially in light of other economies around the world having shrunk. The president says the growth would have been even higher had it not been for the adverse effects of the pandemic, which necessitated a trade-off between saving lives and keeping the economy afloat.
The opportunity cost of saving these lives was therefore the foregoing of Kenya shillings 560 billion of GDP in order to preserve life. And I personally believe that it was worth every single cent.
Pundits had already anticipated that the economy would register a relatively strong performance in the fourth quarter, given the eased restrictions which allowed resumption of a lot of commercial activity.
I think the second quarter of last year, that is between March and June, was the bottom of the trough. It's possible that the fourth quarter of last year, so that's the quarter between October to December, it's possible to have had positive growth. It will be probably very small. And again, we are extrapolating from the numbers that we saw from the second quarter and the third quarter.
Our economy is likely to bounce back and grow by approximately 7% in the year 2021. If we had not made the bold decisions of 2020, as is projected, our economy would in 2021 have contracted by 15%.
This would translate to a loss of 1.55 trillion shillings worth of economic value. The curfew, now extended by a further 60 days, has adopted a softened stance towards business activity compared to previous curfews.
To provide business continuity during the containment period, exemption on the application of curfew is hereby granted to essential service providers, factories working on 2 shifts, construction sites. All these are allowed to operate their night shifts.
Kenya's 0.6% growth is impressive, well, at least according to the head of state, especially in light of the global economy's growth of negative 3.5, the euro area's negative 7.2, the United Kingdom, which registered negative 10%, and sub-Saharan African economies as a whole, which grew aggregate by negative 2.6%. Julian's Amboko, NTV.